I have got a wonderful, soft and cozy finish this week. I can't wait to show you. Talk about our fabric sorting, which is the first step of a major tidy up that we're all working on as my new challenge series. Got some goodies from a couple states away. And at the end, I want to talk about thimbles. Yeah, because that came up in my life today. I'm Pat Sloan. Thanks for being here. This is my Fireside Chat. Thank you for being part of my neighborhood. So, let's see. Snacks that came in. Two people sent me snacks. Gina Beth sent me the Snapped, which are Cheez-Its product. The shipping department, Greg and I, we just love Cheez-Its. I don't know, I think I've loved them all my life, ever since I was a kid. So she says, well, you've got to try these. So she sent me a bag, and I've had to hide them away from Mr. Greg because he wanted to open them and eat them right away. And it's like, no, no, no. And then Alice is from Maine, and she sent things with a maple, and they are, okay, I did open these because, you know, like it's a whole big bag, you could still see it. Candy nuts are amazing. Then she sent along some chocolates. Yeah, we opened those too. Yeah, I'm talking about not opening things. It's only the things I don't want him to open, right? You know how that goes. The other family members don't get to pick. And then, Lisa, Alice, you were so kind. This is more of maple popcorn. I love popcorn. Love it. I had a boss once who said that heaven must smell like popcorn. And so anytime popcorn was going in the office, we had to give him some. He'd show up in your doorway, so you just couldn't avoid him, you know, be like, okay, have some popcorn. So this week, let's first talk about the challenge. If you haven't caught up, maybe you're just coming in for the first time and you haven't seen the previous couple videos. The last few videos I've done are about the challenge to get our fabric and our sewing space organized. Mostly it's a sewing space. Whatever space you work in and you sew in, get it organized. And we're starting with fabric, which is the bulk of what everybody has. Most of us, that is our thing that takes up the most space. And often is the least organized and could have things we no longer like. So there's a whole ball of wax there. And so that's been going on, and you've been doing great. I want to continue to encourage you to share pictures in the group, share statuses, because that keeps not only you accountable, but it helps other people. It motivates other people, and that's what our wonderful neighborhood is about, helping each other. And if you have a question and you're like, I don't really know what to do with this, put it in there. Somebody's going to give you an idea, probably a lot of somebody's. Remember, be kind with your suggestions. Be kind. That's always, if somebody's asking, be sure that you think about your answer. You know, don't be getting a little crazy on the answers. You know, a lot of us have a lot of fabric, and a lot of us let it go, and it gets kind of messy. Some of you have a door, right? You close the door, and nobody goes in there. My brother had a room like that when we were growing up. You just closed the door. Everything he owned was on the floor of the bedroom. Sometimes everything you own in your sewing room is on the floor, isn't it? You stack it. I mean, it's no different than when you were 12 years old, or maybe your brother was 12 years old. My room didn't look like that. Well, maybe not all the time. So you're working on that. I put out some pop-in videos to sort of go on a different topic. The first video was just focused on sorting like your main fabric, not your scraps. I'm going to do a video on Tuesday on thoughts about how to think about your scraps. Nothing I do is sort of a directive. All of what this is how to help you think about your things so that you create something that works for you. Nothing is a cookie cutter. There isn't one solution for anything. An end solution would be a tidy environment that you're happy with, that you love, and that you can work in and find your things. How that looks is different to all of us. Some of you don't like a lot of things. Most of you do, but some of you like lots of things. Some of you don't mind clutter. You don't mind if it's sort of stacked up and cluttery. That's fine. Others of you need everything to be a little calmer. That's more that sparks your creativity and makes you happy. So you find that balance, but we're going to work on it together. And my space, I have in here, the studio that you see here, this is the family room of our home. This is what I work in. But I have things in other rooms that are a little bit more cluttery, that need to be destashed. You know, I need to go through and get older stuff, get rid of older stuff. So somebody had a question about, well, how do you know when you don't want to use it anymore? And this is how I think about it. And I would suggest, see if it works for you, is that if you look at some fabric and you're like, I really cannot envision taking my precious time, the precious little time that I have to work on my quilting, to use that fabric. That fabric does not inspire me anymore. That it might be nice, and yeah, you paid money for it. Just forget that part. Just it's like, it might be nice, but you're like, I don't want to use that. I want to use something newer. I want to use something prettier. I want to use something softer. If you look at this fabric and time again, you're like, you don't pick it, it really needs to move on. It needs to go to a new home. There will be somebody, they can use it for a charity quilt. You could sell it on a marketplace, on Craigslist, on one of the Facebook marketplaces. But it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to live with you and take up your shelf space and take up your mental space, because having things that you don't love anymore take up mental space. Every time you run into it, you're like, oh, I've still got that, and oh, I bought that, and why did I buy that? Or like, oh, I never did use that. So that is my biggest deal for you on deciding if something really is no longer the most precious thing you want to work on. And even if you see it and you're like, yeah, I think maybe I can use it. I think it's, it's a blender, whatever. But somebody was writing that they just used fabric from 20 years ago and they finally cut it up and put it in a string quilt and they were really, really happy. See? So we're all a little bit different. All right. So, okay, the other two things that are, I want to touch base on that is the feeling of being overwhelmed. Like some of you have, you've never really done this, or it's been so long since you sort of sorted through everything. So if you're feeling like it's just too huge of a task to take on right now, but you want to get better, you want to do something, then take on just one colorway. Take on maybe your smallest colorway. Maybe you don't have much yellow fabric. So get out all your yellow fabric from every single spot in your home and outbuildings. Some of you have outbuildings with fabric in it, you've told me. So get all the yellow and put it together. Decide what you want to keep, decide what might be scraps for that discussion, and then move on to the next color. So just to tackle it one color at a time if you can't sort of dive into all of it. It actually sometimes does not take as long as you think it's going to take. You think it's going to take a long time. It's very messy to get it all out in one place and do the big sort, but it's worth it. I also did a pop-in video about backing, so you want to go watch that video. Two other things that will be further on is discussing kits and works in progress. So I'm not dealing with those right now. Those are like a separate entity, and how you think about them and how you want to focus on them. So this is just your bins of fabric. Let me just, there you can see them. See up on my shelf up there? They're like that. They're just the bins of your regular fabric, your everyday fabric that you use all the time. So that's what we're concentrating on, because it is less overwhelming to focus it down and stay within reason. All right. So I did a walk before I got on here. I went over to get a coffee so that I was prepared in case I cough. I get allergy coughs, so I'd like to have just a little something to wet my throat. And it was chilly, so when I came back in, I thought, I'm just going to leave my scarf on. So I like scarves. Do you like scarves? Is that a big thing for you? I really like scarves. So I need to go through those and sort of, I think some of them I've had a little long. I'm not really that keen on, and I want to have some new ones, some fresher ones. So I think I might have to be moving some of those old scarves. They get a little ratty after a while, too, if you use them a lot. Because of the fabrics, they pill up, you know how that is? So we don't want that. All right. the finish, the soft and cozy finish. This is it. Da-da-da. I did. Okay, so I have to see if I can, let me just stand up here so I don't mess up my mic. And I can't bang the mic. Mr. Greg is like, don't bang the mic. So here is the quilt I did from the Perfect 10 book. And it was called Vanilla something, right? Ta-da! Here, I'll pull this up a little bit. There we go. So, and I used the swell fabric. One of the ladies in our neighborhood group there on Facebook, she has her whole bedroom decorated with quilts and pillows and wall hanging, all done with swell. It is so cute. That's the name of the fabric line, swell. But it's a sort of vintagey, old-fashioned Santas and poinsettias. But the best part is, so I used this red polka dot minky that, okay, so this is my true confession. I did buy this fabric a long time ago. There was some sale, of course, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get it for backing, and I never used it. And finally, this quilt, finally I used it, because I rarely do that. I rarely buy backing to hold on to, but I did. I think I was going to use it for something. You know, I had a plan, but it didn't work out. It wasn't big enough. I didn't buy enough. So now it is. Now it's used. Now what we did, can you see how it's just sort of very drapey? It's not stiff. And that's because we didn't put any batting. We being Cindy and Dennis Dickinson, who they sent it to their spa where they quilted it for me. And then Cindy also made it very open. So I don't know if you can see the design there. But it's a very open sort of petal type thing. And that keeps this really soft and drapey so that I can, I'm going to put it over here now, but I can use that you know, on the couch to snuggle up or just wrap around me. So that was the goal for that one. It's mine, and because I just love that fabric. So this is the book. Oh, French Vanilla is the name of it. Yeah, French Vanilla is the one that I did. So this is the Perfect 10 book, and oh, I don't know where it is. There, wait, there, that tab. So this is the quilt that I did, which is really easy because it's big shapes. That's what I liked about that one, is all the big shapes. Now the other, so that was really all my non-work sewing, was putting the binding on that this week. We have all of our sew-alongs, which was the Perfect 5, and my top, I've got the top done. I'm going to have a pattern for using just one block from each of them, and that we still have 2 more blocks to do, but I want to get the top done and get it quilted because I'm on deadline for other things. And so that is going to the spa, and we'll come back. It should be back hopefully just as we end the Perfect 5. Then we're doing the Wednesday, right? Block Wednesday. And I put the block somewhere. Oh, here it is. Block Wednesday. Here we go. So this is the block for Block Wednesday. And I really like seeing all of yours. You're doing fabulous getting them set into the horizontal strips so that by the time you're done, you pretty much have your quilt finished. So that is fantastic. And the fabric I used for the border of mine, they got more in. So I will link to it down below. So if you had sort of been holding out for the border and you wanted to get that navy, the same navy I used, I wasn't sure they were going to get any back in, but I just had a notice. And as you know, the Fat Quarter Shop, or you may not know, the Fat Quarter Shop that I do work with a lot had a total website update. They had a very big, large update, and so it was down for a couple, a day or so. And now they're, working all the little kinks out of it. So if you have a question, you can always call their customer support. If you're not able to find something, they will help you out. So they're awesome. They're really, really good. Now Glow, that is the other thing we're working on. Glow. And it's right behind me. Ta-da! Let me just pull it up. There's 4 rows, and this is actually called a twin size in the pattern. I kept calling it lap. Sorry, somebody told me, no, it's the twin size. The lap has one less row. So if you bought the kit, which you can still get a kit with my Bonnie Lane fabric, the kit is for all of these rows. We're doing row 3 this week, and this week we'll start on Drive Down Bonnie Lane. So so this is the sew along portion to get us all up to date on what's going on. So Drive Down Bonnie Lane is visiting a quilt shop, and so I don't have it here, but I will be, making the blocks. It'll be back in January, I think, for me to show you. So this is the pattern. Drive Down Bonnie Lane is the sew along with the car and the cute little quilts and the houses. So when you open your pattern, I want to show you, you can go, we're going to have this on Thursday. I'm on travel on Thursday, but this post will still go up on Thursday. There's a worksheet in the back that has all the fabrics. And so when Barb wrote the pattern, it's Barb's pattern of Coach House. Also, I couldn't think of her name, Coach House Designs. But when she says use fabric 1, these are the fabric numbers. And so she's got them all laid out on this worksheet. And if for some reason you're not using my fabric or the kit, then you will need this to put your own fabric swatches so you know what's going on. That is in the back. And then Barb's pattern has everything, let's cover these up, everything laid out in sections. So you can open it up and take a look, and in these sections are how we'll just go by her sections, because it's a lot easier then for you to use the pattern, because we'll just go sequentially through, which means the car is at the end, but I am going to make the car early because the car is on the bottom. So we're working in horizontal rows, and starting with the stars and the dresses. But first we'll be doing the stars. The first block we'll do is the stars, and we'll do all the stars, all the big stars, not the little ones, just the big ones. So like here are the first stars, and this will be the first thing we do on Thursday. So if for some reason you have time and this week before Thursday, you have the pattern, you have your fabric, you don't need to wait for me. But if you want to, I'll have some little tips for each block, and then the first applique will be the dresses, and unless I switch to do the big trees. So we'll see, because the trees are super easy. So I might have us do the trees, even though it's a little out of order, but I might have us do the trees second, and that way, here are the trees. That way, if we're doing the trees second, they're simple, so if you haven't done a lot of fusible applique, you can certainly then do this and get a feel, get your feet wet. And I will do a little tutorial of with a video. I'll do a video with the applique. But other than that, so the dresses are appliqued, the car is appliqued. So there are, several pieces. I think the big roof, one of the big roofs is appliqued too. So there's a little bit of applique in these, which I love. And you will see how easy it is when you do fusible. It is so easy. Believe me, yeah. You can do it, you can do it. I have a book about it too, so if you don't, if you really want to get into it, then you can get the book, which has more step-by-step photos, and it would really help you out. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let me first talk a little bit about. I got sidetracked during this week. Not for a bad, not a bad sidetrack. It was a good sidetrack. Because my friend Katya Merrick, who is a shop owner in Canada and also a fellow Martingale book author and one of the fabulous designers we invited to be on the Splendid Sampler with us, she has a brand new book. And she wrote me and asked me, would I participate in her book tour? And so she's doing this all on Instagram. So I will link you over to Instagram. But her book is called, here's called The New Hexagon. She's pretty well known for doing hexagons. That was her first book, since she had a calendar, and a lot of you who love hexagons might have gone and made some of her quilts from that. She had a pretty big community of people doing that. And so this Hexagon book, she named all of the blocks in it for people. And then she invited those of us that inspired the name, which was so sweet, to do our block. So she has a Pat block. Ta-da! Isn't that cool? And there's Amelia, right? Yeah, I'm on the page with Amelia. So each block is done to show you like different colors that were pulled from the different projects. So she has not only the project on the front, but she has like different projects in the book. That's a starburst. There was this one here. I have to show you this one. This is Explore the Stars. Isn't that absolutely fabulous? So this is all English paper piecing, which means for today, which is my day on her book tour, I did my Pat block. So this is the English paper piecing I did. I've tried everything in quilting, and I've done some of it quite a bit. But English paper piecing, I do, I've done blocks for the Splendid Sampler, and I'm doing you've seen me do the hexagons, and I'm not even setting them into a big quilt like some people. I'm just putting them all down onto one piece of fabric. But it was really fun to work on Katya's block because I was having to sort of dig back in and bring up some skill sets that I hadn't used for a while. So, English paper piecing, if you're not familiar with it, I'll turn the back over. You can see all this white, there's shapes. So you're basically, here, let me get my hexagons. It's my folder for the hexagons. Let me just pull you down here. So, these are shapes that using pre-cuts are best. They're either thicker cardboard, or in this case, I'm using these by my friend Helen Stubbings that stay in. They're soft and more pliable. But for the block I did for Katya's, I actually had to create the paper myself. Trace it out of the book, and then I traced it onto freezer paper, and then did several layers of freezer paper. So here, here are the shapes. Here's all the shapes. So I traced those, and each piece is a shape. Each of the scissors is that shape, the red dots and the stripes. And it's a it's a process. And I thought I'd just show you on one of these. For those that want to see how it works, I will do it on the soft papers that stay in. I need to have, let me just bring this all the way down here. Whoop. So we get closer for a minute. White on white. It's hard to see, isn't it? I'll pick that up. There we go. So let me get a red square. So I have a red square, and this is going on the back. So let me just lay that there 1 minute. And then in here I need the glue. And I use a glue that is made by, what is this? Yeah, the Sloan glue sticks. There's a couple manufacturers that make glue sticks. I happen to like theirs. If you're doing this on paper, like over here, this is having to be freezer paper, the paper will eventually come out. Like you will, hold on, you will lift this up, let me see, and then you will just pull that paper out. See there? So that is removable. So I'll just take it out. So that is the shape, and that'll come out. And you don't keep those in there. But if you use these fibers, like there's a couple people that make them, I like Helen Stubbings. They're a little bit soft, which I don't mind that. So you take, and this is the same way you do with paper that you remove. These glue sticks will come off really easy. But I put a line on there, and then I just fold it over. And then basically I just work around it and fold it over. And the neat part is with these fiber types, they stay in the quilt. They don't come out. They wash and they just are soft, and you don't even know they're there anymore. So I just go all the way around the shape, and I'll link you to all of these. So there we go, all the way around. And then I have the hexagon. And I've been keeping them, whoops, I've been keeping them in here, which leads me to thimbles. Let me bring this back up, because I was doing this block for Katya's book, and I didn't have my thimble on because I hadn't really been using my thimble lately. I've been doing a lot of things that are on the machine, and I haven't had to do a lot of handwork. And I push with my middle finger. And so I knew I needed the thimble because I was pushing and it was not feeling good. I was poking my finger. And I thought, okay, I need to go digging around. So I had this, take this out here. I had this in my bowl, and I had this thimble, which is one that I got ordered years ago, but it's actually a little too big now. It's too big, it slides right off, and that's not good. It should, you know, if I did this with my hand, like it just could almost just fall off. I can feel it. So I needed to find my other thimble, which is this one. And this is a tailor's thimble. That's what it's called. And it's open in the top because sometimes my nails are longer, so I don't like a top, you know, I don't like a thimble that has a top on it. So I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. It turns out it was in this box. It was in here because that was the last time I'd been using it. And it has the ridges all the way around so that I could just put it anywhere I want. And when I had this special ordered about 15 years ago, a long time ago, from a lady, she told me I'm pretty sure she said in New York it's made, and that it was one of the only manufacturers in the U.S. still making thimbles, tailor's thimbles. So I know there's other thimble companies, but I would love to know if any of you know where to get this. Where do I order another one? Because I would like to order another one so that I have it. So I have two. I don't know why I just didn't do that at the time. It would have been so much better, but I didn't, and so I only have one. So I would just love if anybody knows where I could order the tailor's thimble, because it's by size, so you have to order by size. And I want to show you one other thing, because that got me thinking, the thimbles got me thinking about something really precious that I own, and I want to share it with you. So this is my Waterford thimble, and it's in the thimble cage, which I could wear as jewelry. So I can put it over my neck. I'm going to open the thimble cage, so it just opens like this. See, it's just the necklace just goes through the top. So let me hold it down here. This is what it came in. So when I took a group of quilters to Ireland many years ago, we went to the Waterford factory, and Jim West, who was running the event, he ran the tours, and he still runs tours, Jim West tours, but he gave me the thimble. And so it's engraved with Waterford 2007 on the edge, and we got to go to the Waterford factory that was in England, which is no longer there, which is so sad, but it was an amazing, amazing adventure. Then when we came back, I decided I needed a thimble cage. So I had to special order, let me put it back in here. I had to special order the thimble cage because the Waterford thimble is a decorative thimble, and so it's much too big for regular thimble cages. And that was so fun. I found a guy, and I just kept sending him pictures, and then he sent me back. It took like 3 tries. He would send me the cage, and then I'd have to send it back because it wasn't quite big enough. And I'd send pictures until we got it the right size. And then my mother-in-law bought me the chain. So she decided she wanted to be part of this, so she bought me the chain to wear it. And I would take it, sometimes I wear it, taking it to events, you know, it's a lot of fun to show people. But I just thought about that when I was trying to find my thimble. So remember, if you know where to get those thimbles, write me. And then I transferred, remember I showed you this last week, the new Bloomtopia bags. I transferred my current blocks for the English paper for these English paper pieced hexagons, for hexies in here. So these are the ones that I'm working on. And then, yeah, so I also got this unwrapped. I showed you that last week so that I can wear it. So if you're not familiar with that, here it goes. I just put the magnet underneath, and there it goes, so that I can take a pin or needle when I'm working, and it just goes right on there. So I thought that's pretty cool. I haven't used that yet, so I got that out to be sure I get use out of it. And the other thing is the needle threaders. There's now a pink one for threading your needles. And I'm sure I have a single video just on this, so I'm gonna look and see. And I did it in another video the other week, but I saw the pink ones. I decided to tell you they now have pink ones. This was for donation goes to the National Breast Cancer Foundation from buying the pink ones. So it's for a good cause too. That's fabulous. Remember, tell me if you know anything about ordering those thimbles. I really, really want a second one. And if you haven't subscribed, if you're new, you haven't subscribed, down here, wherever the link is, subscribe at YouTube so that you get a notice whenever I have a new notification. I mean, a new video, you get a notice. After you subscribe, then a little bell will come up, and then you can click the little bell. And if you haven't joined my Facebook group, I'm at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan over at Facebook. I'll put a link. That's always, and everything we do is also then at my website. So right below the video, the very first line of text, and it's always there, will be the link to my website so that you can find everything there. And I have some photos, and it makes it a little bit easier than trying to just maybe go through the text here at the video. I want to, let's see, I think we'll do the goodies, a goodie bag. So last week for the goodie bag, I had this really great, I'm not going to take it out, but I had this really great bag of fabric. Oops, the whole, oh, it's open at the top. Good grief. Okay, so I had this really great bundle of fabric. As everything's falling out, I'll check it's all back in there. And this is going, I already picked a name, so this goodie bag is going to go to Vicky. And the question last week was, what part of your fabric organization do you need to tackle? And Vicky said she just needs to make decisions and file the fabric. So that's what a lot of us need to do. Just make a decision. Go with something. And first she's going to put it by the project and quilt. She's going to separate her project things and then file the rest of it by color. I think a lot of people really like, I mean, I've taught for years on the road, and I would ask people how they sort their fabric, and by color is a majority of you do that. You sort by color. That seems to be how we think when we get ready to work with our fabric. When you go to a quilt shop, how do they sort it? It's by color, because you go in going, I need to find blue for this. I need to find a green that matches that. Color. Now this week, I have a goodie bag. Da-da-da. Oh, there was also a gift card in that one too. The gift for an online class that goes to Vicky. So this week I have another little bundle of fabric because that seems to be so much fun. And this is the bundle of Cat and the Fiddle. So that fabric bundle, and I just have to show you one piece of it. It is so darling. So it's all of the nursery rhyme things on there. Cat and the Fiddle, it's super cute. It's just super cute. That plus Wonder Clips. Got Wonder Clips in that bag. And a spool of Aurifil thread, one of my favorite neutral colors that's in my neutral box. The little Olfa pin and the Olfa sort of X-Acto knife. So these are great. So this week we'll have you're gonna have probably have 2 weeks to enter this time, because I Won't have a video next Monday, which is the 26th. Do you know why I won't have a video on the 26th? Because it's my birthday. Yes. So I'm not going to run a video on my birthday evening. I will be out to dinner. That's what we do. So I will do some pop-in videos during the week. I'm out of town Thursday and part of Friday, and I will probably on the weekend do another pop-in video. So you'll still see me. Now, how do you get this? How do you enter for this? You go to my website, and the question this time is about your fabric, because that's what we're focused on. We're focused on your fabric, but it's a little twist. Instead of asking you a question about the fabric, I really want to know, once that's done, okay, so you're thinking about your fabric a lot. So once the fabric's done, what is the next thing that takes up the most space for you? I mean, there could be books, could be patterns, it could be thread, it could be batting. Somebody asked me, what do I do with this big roll of batting I got? Occasionally people tell me it's sewing machines. Like, you might collect vintage sewing machines, you know, so maybe you have like a bunch of those. So tell me in there, what is the bulkiest thing after fabric? What takes up the most of your precious space after fabric? So, all right, that's it. I'm Pat Sloan. This has been a fabulous week. I love you. I love you for being here, for being part of my community, for being so helpful to each other. Share your things at my group here at my website, and I will catch you online.